Are live.
Directly, Christina. I mean, how about we want to rehemp the world? That's
I like that.
we have undertaken a huge task as a company, long-term vision, because this hemp plant needs buddies, needs friends, needs help because it's been so misunderstood during the years. My goodness, it's like
Yes.
and here we come in as the good guys, you know, we got it. Okay, hemp plant, we are your friends. We are advocates for you, and let's rehemp the world back to nature. I mean, in these times, Christina, right, with the food quality and everything, and the air, and then, I don't want to go on and doom and gloom, but it's kind of a isn't it a little bit true actually? The
Oh, it's
whole
100% true. Yeah. A little scary.
situation is,
Mhm.
yeah. So um Sarah, your thoughts also, you know,
Good
about this.
morning. Good morning, or good afternoon, wherever y'all are calling in from. I'm super excited to be here today. But yeah, that's a great way to put it, Tibor. I know everybody's looking for health solutions and everybody wants to feel better. So that is what we're doing here today. So if you have any questions, you guys drop them in the comments live on the Facebook feed, or
Yep,
if you're
yep.
on Zoom with us, just drop them and Dr. Campbell will get your questions answered. So I'm super excited to have you here today, Dr. Campbell.
Thank you. And if you guys are on Facebook Live and you know there are other people who, could use this information, like share this out now so that they can jump on as well. Try and maximize.
Absolutely.
I'd like to help as many people as we can today. So,
So
Man,
Dr. Campbell, let's start off. I'm going to start off the questions if that's okay. Yes. So
yeah, grab it. Do it.
it's the time of year where, the seasonal allergies are going to be starting. I know so many people suffer from that. How can we, help ease that and not be miserable during that season?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, and of course, we're all about hemp and CBD here, as Tibor pointed out beautifully. One of the major things that you can do is adding CBD to your life, because of especially full spectrum, but even a broad spectrum CBD with the cannabinoid profiles will help to balance the immune system. Oftentimes too, allergies can be complicated by gut health issues. And that is another thing that a full spectrum CBD can help with, is improving gut health overall and reducing inflammation. And that's really what that allergic reaction is. It's inflammation that's created because your body's feeling attacked by something in the air, something in your food, right? So that is a really great place to start. And another thing that I would suggest too, because, well, here we're still dead in winter. In fact, it's snowing like crazy outside, and we've just got a couple inches of snow on the ground and supposed to get more. So we're not as close to it as you are. That being said, we're all coming out of winter, and winter really, with that vitamin D deficiency, really does impact our health significantly. So making sure that you are getting vitamin D, or that if your blood level, so making sure you're getting tested. Everyone should get tested. Your primary care doctor can order it. Insurance will cover it. And you can get tested. You should get tested really quarterly, so seasonally. And I like to do it at the beginning of each season, so I know what my patient's level is heading into that season. And then any supplementation that may be needed can be adjusted, right? Based on that. So making sure that you're maximizing your vitamin D is another great tool
Okay.
that you can use. Yeah.
I love that. So, you know what I found helpful throughout my day, instead of just sitting at the computer, is it's been beautiful and sunny here, even though it's cold. So I'll go outside in my bare feet and I stand in the dirt and I close my eyes and I just like gaze at the sun with my eyes closed. But I've noticed a significant difference in my mood. Why is that?
That is a fantastic question. I love that question because we're a battery. We're a battery pack. We are electrical beings. Every single one of our cells is electrical. The potential across the membrane of every cell uses potassium, sodium, potassium pumps to pump things across, and that's an electrical pump. Our inside of our cells, you know, I love the mitochondria. I talk about them a lot. Our mitochondria are creating cellular energy using electricity. Anytime, because it's an electron transport chain. Anytime you're moving electrons, you're creating electricity. So we are electric and we are magnetic. And we evolved outside naked and barefoot in all the light of the sun.
Right.
So we actually evolved as humans over millennia, knowing how to use the magnetism of the earth, which is what grounding does for you. Because that hot molten lava that's all in the middle of the earth, that's all hot metal. Hot metal is magnetic. Okay. So the earth is magnetic. We've known that for centuries, right? That's not new information. But understanding that we can actually absorb those electrons through our bare feet, or if it's 5 inches of snow on the ground like it is here, a bare hand against a live rooted tree. A dead tree isn't going to do you any good, but a live rooted tree, you can put your hand up against it. So tree hugging is back. Again, bring humanity back to nature, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then the other thing is when you're getting that sunshine in the early morning, the first 90 minutes of the day and the last 90 minutes of the day, you have red light dominance. So you're actually getting red light therapy for free from our beautiful sun. In the middle of the day, and it's different depending on your latitude and longitude, how much, and time of year, how much UVA and UVB rays you'll get. But UVB rays are what we use across our skin to turn cholesterol into vitamin D.
Oh, wait, what? Can you say that one more time?
So UVB rays, so
Okay.
middle of the day rays, UVB rays are what we use across our skin. We're a solar panel. We're electrical beings and we're a solar panel. We're meant to be out in the sun. So we absorb that sunlight, that UVB ray, we take cholesterol and we turn it into vitamin D.
Wow.
Using sun. That's how we're supposed to get vitamin D.
Right.
That's why you feel better.
Right. Yeah, that's incredible because I was just having this conversation the other day with Dr. Jen because they go out and they ground too. They were in the snow, her and Dr. Jamie with their feet in the snow. And I love that because I think so many people think, well, if I go out when it's cold, I'm going to get sick. But we don't get sick just from the cold. Can you
No, that is
elaborate?
an old wives' tale. Superstitious. No bearing in reality at all. In fact, if you look at the information around cold shock proteins and cold thermogenesis, it actually improves your mitochondrial function. Think about it. If you're out in the sunshine and your cell phone overheats, what do? Because I know what I do. If I'm outside, I'm on a phone call and it overheats and hangs up on me and it's got the temperature thing, you know, the big warning sign, I throw it in the freezer. Why do I do that?
Oh.
Because it's overheated and it's an electrical battery. And when I cool it down, it works better.
Yeah.
Our bodies are no different for the same reason, because we are, in fact, a battery.
Right.
A walking, living host of colony of multi-million cells that are all electrical and magnetic. How about that? The other cool thing to know is that CBD actually improves our electrical system in our cells. So it improves our energy, if you will.
Right. So that AM PM would come in handy, Dr. Campbell. You go out and ground in the morning, you have your AM, it puts you in that Zen place.
Absolutely. 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 And the last 90 minutes of the day is important too. So watching that sunset, and frankly, it's a beautiful meditative space to be in when you're watching that sunrise and watching that sunset. I've always felt like, since I was a child, I always felt like it was God's way of reminding us that, you know, it's not over yet. We still have time. There is still hope. There's, you know, there's a new day dawning, right? If we're living in this moment, which we really should be living in the moment more often than not, we have to plan for the future, but we don't want to live in the future stressed out about it. And we don't want to be freaking about the past because it's over. Can't do anything about it now anyway, right? So this moment is really the best moment to be living in, not only for our physical health, but for our mental health. And that mind-body connection is really super important. So yeah, so being a solar panel, grounding yourself. There's actually a really great research paper that shows grounding can increase the amount of ATP that you make in your mitochondrial, in your cells by 3 times what you would normally need.
What is ATP?
Adenosine triphosphate. That is the unit of energy that comes out of the end of that electron transport chain. So inside of our mitochondria, we have these little cellular batteries that make the cellular energy. And that's called the electron transport chain. It's the big fancy term for it, but all it really means is we're taking from there's 5 complexes. So from each complex 1, just think of it like one building to the next building to the next building. Each building, you're just transferring electrons from one to the next, the next, the next. And each step gets you closer to making that huge ball of energy at the end.
Okay. So
So
it's
when
a
you're
perfect way to start and end your day.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for the question. That's one of my favorite things to teach about.
Yes, I know. I love that. And I'm learning more about it every day. So if you guys have any questions to expand on that with Dr. Campbell, just drop that in the comments on Facebook and we can go from there. But Dr. Campbell, what else would you like to talk about today? Do you have anything specific in mind? I'm waiting. Let me see. Wait a second. I got a question coming through. Okay. How long should we spend in the sun at a time to get the benefit?
A fantastic question too. So it depends on your skin. It depends on how much clothing or not clothing you have on. I mean, don't get arrested, but as much skin as you can have showing in the sun, the more you're going to get across your skin, right? There's a reason that there's a reason that breast cancer patients go outside in the sun bare-breasted, right? Because they've learned that sunlight is an important piece of reducing inflammation and improving cellular energy. And without cellular energy, you can't really improve your health in that situation. So where was I going? My mind's a little bit all over the place right now.
No, you were just saying I was just making a joke. You're not recommending you go outside and stand naked. That's not what you said.
Listen, I mean, I'm hoping that nobody has like a private license to fly a plane and decides to come over my house. But I go out there. I literally bought these. I bought those like 3-way. You know what I'm talking about? 3-panel things. Yeah. That you can put up. You could change behind it or whatever. They have them at the spas and stuff when you're changing for a massage. I bought 2 of those and I line them with aluminum foil and I stick them out on my deck so my neighbors on either side can't see me. And I get right down to the bare.
Okay, listen, I'm just saying. You guys are hearing it first with Dr. Campbell.
Sure, it's okay. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Make sure you don't get yourself in trouble. Put some walls up and get out in the way God made us and get in the sunlight. Okay, it's gonna be beneficial for our health.
But there's actually an app. So let me share this with you because this is the most important piece. It's free. It's called DMinder. D-/hyphen. Right? Yes. Minder, MINDER, DMinder. It's a free app on your phone.
Okay.
When you log in for the day, it will ask you like what percentage of your body is covered or uncovered. What time of year is it? Where do you live? It literally figures out your latitude, longitude, your heritage. Like, are you white? Are you black? Are you something in between? What is your culture? How much melanin do you have in your skin? Right? Because that makes a difference in how long you can stay out. And it will tell you how long you need to stay out to get the amount of vitamin D that you need without burning. Wow. And you can use this year round. So it's a free way to calculate and if it's not free anymore, it's really inexpensive. So it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm just downloading it right now, Dr. Campbell.
I love this app.
You beat me to it. So Nancy made a comment. I was naked one time in the country and a crop duster spotted me. This is great, you guys. So I had a question. Somebody
It is so
said,
funny.
as much as the sun is beneficial, is the moonlight as well? Does that have any benefits?
That is a really great question. And honestly,
Mm.
that is an area that I am researching and learning more about. Certainly, the moon affects the magnetism of the earth because it changes the tides, right? Full moon versus low moon. So there's no question that it can impact us because we are electrical and we are magnetic. So if that premise is true, which it clearly is and has been proven, and we know in physics that if you put one magnet next to another, they affect each other, right? So anything magnetic or electrical that's pulling on the earth is going to have an impact on us. Beyond that, I don't have a lot to offer right now, but it's actually an area that I am researching currently. So give me a couple months and I'll probably have a lot more to say on that.
Okay, well, that's super interesting. Angela, that was a great question. I actually never even thought of that question because we always hear about the sun, but never
And do
really.
remember that the moon is lit up not because it has light. It's not. So the sun is actually a dynamic quantum star that's got all these gases and biochemical reactions going on that's creating all that heat and all that electromagnetic radiation, which we call sunlight, right?
Right.
The moon is just a big fat rock and it's floating around there because of gravity. Right? Where it came from, there's a lot of thoughts on that. I'm not sure that we really know for sure, but I think that the thought was it came off the earth at some point and just ended up in our gravitational pull.
Yeah.
But it reflects the sunlight. So because of where it is in the week, depending on how the earth, because remember the earth rotates on a tilted axis of 23 degrees, right?
Right.
And every day it rotates around, and then it also 365.25 days around the entire sun, right?
Right.
So because of the way that it rotates, that's how we get our sliver versus our full moon. And just think of it like a mirror in the sky. So the sun's light is being reflected off the moon. And depending on where you are in that rotational cycle, you'll see the moon as a full moon, a mid moon, all the different moons, right? That we
Right,
all
all the
talk
moons,
about.
yeah. I love it. Yeah. I love this is a great call. Tibor, you have any input? You've been quiet over there. I don't want to steal all the questions.
No, no, no. I love it. It's perfect. Absolutely. That's so interesting to hear,
Yeah.
Dr. Campbell. It's really like maybe we can just uh, touch on something because it comes up often. The most people we talk to, Dr. Campbell, are shocked when they are hearing that there's a patent on CBD. On US have a patent, and in that summary, it kind of summarize enormous health benefits, like things like you almost get have they taken this away from us all this, hid this from us from all these years? And I'm like, um, I might change lanes here a little bit, but this patent, it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is a real thing. Remind me, Tibor, do you remember what year that patent came out, or can you look that up real quick?
Yes, I can look that up for you.
2003. It's
Was it 2003?
The
Okay.
reason why I remember it was the day after my oldest son was born. So that's why it
Okay.
sticks in my mind. So
I
was
put it up on the
2003.
screen, Dr.
Yeah.
Campbell. I put it up on the screen right now. Can you see it?
I can. So, so the biggest thing and one of the first things this patent covered was the fact that it reduces, it improves neurodegenerative disease, and it's neuroprotective is what we call it. But that just
Right.
means that it, in the face of an insult, whether that be trauma, stroke, ischemia, mold, biotoxins, or whatever creates inflammation in the brain, causes issues, this can be neuroprotective. And I actually found, and I haven't been able to find it again, I don't know why. Sometimes these things get hidden, but there was an amazing study out of I believe it was out of Europe. I want to say it was England. And they were studying the use of 40 milligrams I think it was only 30 milligrams of CBD in acute stroke in the ambulance. So it was an EMS study, And it came out, and I was reading it as I was still practicing emergency medicine, and was taking CBD, right? So I was just looking through the literature, the emergency literature, and I came across this. And it was pretty interesting. So they found that even just 30 milligrams of CBD taken before the incident or within the first 2 hours of the incident was neuroprotective. And so the argument they were making was, should we have CBD available in the ambulance along with IV fluids and aspirin and all these other things that we do in the face of stroke?
Wow.
So it's pretty cool, right?
It's super cool.
Yeah. So this patent, 2003. So this patent came out, which is really interesting because, and we talked about this on the last call, hemp has been, I mean, hemp, CBD, medicinal hemp, all these things have been around for millennia. I mean, all the way back to like early China, 2900 BC, 5600 BC, depending on where you are culturally, there's been some evidence of its use. You certainly can see evidence of its use in the Bible as well. And I can't quote it right now, but I know I found it recently. So I'll have to dig that up for the next call. But there's some allusion to it in the Bible even. And then in 1937, it was removed from the market. But there's a huge backstory to that. So because you asked the question, the backstory was, and it's complicated and it's multifaceted, but William Randolph Hearst, who was a guy who owned timberland, also was a guy who was involved with many newspapers. And hemp at the time was very inexpensive to grow, very inexpensive to use for paper. Dun, dun, dun. Right? For containers, for rope, for clothing, for, I mean, linens, for you name it, you can make it with hemp. Even, and I live in Michigan, so for me, this is super fun to know about. And maybe you can pull it up because there's a great video online on YouTube. Just if you do this for me, Tibor, type in Henry Ford hemp car.
Yeah, man, that's so cool.
So he made an entire car out of hemp. It was lighter than any of the metal cars that were around, so it was faster. It required less fuel. He used hemp for fuel for that car. And what they found was it was actually stronger in its trauma than any other car on the market. And it was incredible. I think it was like the 1950s that this came out here in Michigan. And he was not able to produce this car in mass because of the illegalization of hemp in this country. And that just, I mean, what would Michigan be like, right? If that had come to fruition. But there's a great video where they're actually, you can find the video, Tibor. There's these two guys, right? Yeah, Ford and his, I'm not sure who the other guy is. They're beating on it they're beating on the front hood of the car with like this huge hammer, and there's zero dent. It's phenomenal. So if you can find it, we'll play it during the thing. But
okay, Dr. Campbell, I have a question that came through about this study that you were just referring to.
Yeah.
Did they get anything? What was the final result of that and the benefit, the conclusion that they came to?
The conclusion was if they were taking 30 milligrams before, like as a preventative, like an everyday thing, or they received it within the first 2 hours of the stroke, that they had improved morbidity in the end. So for those who survived their stroke, they had better return of function than those who survived and did not have CBD. That was the end result.
Okay.
They didn't factor in those who did not survive. And I think the thought there was that, I mean, they didn't survive. How do you really know what they're, right? So they didn't do a comparison on that. I would have liked to have seen it. Was there a difference between the number of people who survived versus didn't survive, who had CBD versus didn't have CBD? They didn't discuss that in the paper. It was really more about end result of return of function after stroke based on that. So anyway.
Well, and that's why here at Kokuavida, we came up with the concept of the AM PM, the morning and the evening, because you're continually stimulating at a high level your endocannabinoid system, right?
Yep.
So it's important to get that. I notice a huge difference when I have my broad spectrum in the morning versus if I forget it.
Mm.
It's just my day's a lot different. It looks a lot different because I feel that calm and that steady for the whole day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I found it.
You did. Okay, play it. This is such a great
Okay,
video. It's a super short clip, but it's worth watching.
here we go. So
So
you
this
can
is the hemp car. I think this is Dearborn, Michigan. This is really close to where I live.
going there. You have it.
Look at this. Look at that. It's a hammer. He's hammering on the nothing. Nothing.
Not a scratch.
I mean, can you imagine? Imagine if that car had come to market and that was the type of materials we were using. First of all, imagine the world politics and how much better it would be because we'd have hemp for fuel, number one. So we wouldn't be fighting over petroleum, right?
Oh
Number
my
two,
goodness. Yes.
think about, I mean, I'm an ER doctor by trade initially, right? Think about the number of lives that would have been saved in accidents alone a year if we had that kind of car protecting us as we're
Right.
driving 75 miles down the road. It blows my mind to think about it, and it's I mean, I'm hoping someday it'll come back, but
Right.
unfortunately I think this has been the issue, and maybe Tibor, I know we're still working on it with Kokuavida, so let me know. But the big issue is no one has grown hemp in the US for so long that there's like nobody has the equipment to do it. Nobody has the know-how even anymore. And we're almost having to start from scratch. And I know we've been looking for vendors or people who would grow it here. And I don't know if we've actually found anyone yet, but in the US, it's only grown for the CBD so far.
Well, I think I could speak for every mother out there that if their kids were getting in a hemp car for the very first time and driving off, we'd probably feel a lot better.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Well, we are friends with hemp wood company who makes floors and stuff out of hemp, and also plastics from New York. This industry are absolutely breaking free from everything else, and they are in a good way obsessed with helping the hemp plant get a foothold, because it's still one of the reasons, and this is the paradox that everyone needs to get educated on, that the big industries are suppressing it still because they can't own it really. So that's that's the reason why hemp is not bigger, if that makes sense.
Again, follow the money and you find the truth, right? That we talked about that last time too. And that's really the end story with William Randolph Hearst, right? He had a cousin or a nephew or something that was a government employee who was working for he was working for what was before it became the DEA. It had a different title. I forget the title now. Do you remember?
He was the drug czar.
Yeah. So he was working
inside
there,
the DEA,
and William Randolph Hearst wanted to use his timber. He wanted to sell it to the newspapers. He owned them both. It was just money, money, money.
Yeah.
And that was big motivation, right? So then they had the smear campaign and all the crazy posters that came out. I mean, if you go back and look at some of the posters and talk about propaganda.
Man,
I mean, it was in your face. It wasn't subtle like it is today. It's like completely in your face, and people bought in. And then eventually they in 1937 they made it illegal, and that was as the DEA was being born, right? So that small organization, I think, was under Eisenhower, right? And then it became the DEA after that. So if you guys learn the history behind what happened here, and then we were all lied to forever. We were lied to about this plant, about it was going to take us all to hell. It was causing women to do crazy things they would never otherwise do. I mean, just stupid stuff. Stupid stuff.
We should know when it's that big. We should look behind it and see what's happening for real.
Yeah, I remember, Dr. Campbell, the first time I got introduced to hemp and CBD and such. I educated myself, and most of the doctors and I've talked to since then, it was 8 years ago, gets furious when they actually learned what they caused, the cause and effect of this,
Yep.
health wise, that must have struck a chord in you too, right?
Oh, absolutely. I go through periods of being angry. And earlier on in my transition out of conventional medicine, much more then, because now I've realized, again, you look at in the past, you can't change it, right? You can only change what you do now and moving forward. So that
True.
is why I'm so passionate about educating, because that is my contribution to now and moving
Yes.
forward, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? The funniest story is not that long ago, I learned that we can actually thank Mercedes that the CBD industry exists today.
Oh, why is that?
Okay, you won't
Tell me.
believe this. This is like, okay, so all this thing you just saw with Henry Ford, the reason he could do that with the car, with the add hemp to his composite, then on the car, and those things, then basically because hemp during the World War II was taken out from the Drug Act. So the hemp plant in itself, marijuana was still in there because it's not the same. A lot of people don't know that marijuana and hemp still are not, it's not the
Right.
same plant. Okay, it's not the same plant. It's like saying citrus fruits that lime is the same as orange. It's not, or lemon is the same as orange. It's not, but it's in the same family, the cannabis family, yes,
Right.
but it's not the same. So after the World War II, they forbid it again, and the hemp plant got stuck in the Schedule 1. Okay, what happened during the late 90s? From the 90s, Mercedes actually forefronted. They wanted to have the hemp plant out of the drug debt so they can use what? The fibers from it, not the CBD and such, the fibers from it. And they banged the door down to the authorities for years, lobbying. Get it out. It's no THC, almost anything. Why are you afraid of it? And they did all this legwork, Dr. Campbell. And guess what? 2004, they took it out. The authorities took it out from the Drug Act, the Schedule 1, meaning the hemp plant, because of the car industry.
Yeah.
And that the cat was out of the bag. The milk has been poured out. It's hard to put the milk back in again. And voila, years later, all this farm bill was actually preempt, because 2004 they took out from the Schedule 1 in Europe, and then it followed suit here in US too with the farm bill years later. But Europe actually, because of Mercedes. And now if you have a Mercedes, maybe Audi and Volkswagen, I can't vouch for those, but I know they are picking up hemp fibers in the cars. You have around 55 pounds of hemp fibers in your Mercedes today if you buy a Mercedes. How about that?
That's fantastic. I didn't know that. That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
I love it. We're at 30 minutes, you guys, so we're gonna wind down here. Tibor, if you don't mind putting up the disclaimer for me. What's that?
Yes.
How many questions? Well, I want to say one more thing.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The reason why it's so significant about hemp being used for materials and being able to replace anything that's plastic is because it's carbon negative.
Yep.
So where we're ruining our oceans and our fish and our food supply and our waters and our air with plastic, we can literally replace it. Not only that, it's safer for the environment to produce it, and the crops turn over very quickly. So it's fast to market. As crops go, it's not like it's, takes 3 years for something to mature. It's you can literally harvest 3 times a year, I think, depending on how you're doing it, right? But anyway, it's just it's so significant in what it could do for us, for humanity. So
we want to right, Sarah. We as a company want to ReHEMP the world. That's we want to forefront this and be a beacon of hope, and not only ride the big trend of the cannabinoids and take as much money as possible as long as we can. No, we have a really long-term vision and a huge vision with this Kokuavida club, so all the hemp enthusiasm in a conservative way, I mean, for people with high standards, and not like being, you know, using it for being, you know, like a, you know what I mean, lifestyle.
Right,
like
right. We're about bringing humanity back to nature. That's what we're all about. And what that looks like is, you know, taking your CBD, it's grounding, it's going the natural route. You know, Dr. Campbell's sitting here. She's been working in the ER, and now she does functional medicine, helping people get to the root of the problem. So
amazing.
it's incredible, you guys. I want to tell you guys this disclaimer. The information provided is for educational purposes and informational purposes only. It is not intended as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have read or received from this content today. And actually, I would like to end today by saying thank you, Dr. Campbell, but I also want to shout out Hannah Hell. She actually wrote another book. It's Hemp and CBD, A Beginner's Guide. And you guys, you can jump on Amazon and grab a copy of that. This is her second or third book, I believe. I'm losing track. She's incredible at what she does. So Hannah, we love you and support you, and thank you for being part of the mission and spreading as much as you can about hemp. So thank you guys for today. Be on the lookout. We'll be announcing our next call, and I have good news. The product has landed and is in the EU warehouse, ready to ship out, you guys. So be on the lookout for an email for that. Everybody have a wonderful day. Bye.
Let's put the Amazon link to the book in the on the
I'll
Facebook
put it in the
page
chat.
comments.
Yeah,
So everyone
I
can
already
get it
got you.
quickly.
You're
Awesome.
you're awesome.
All right.
Love you guys.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you, everyone.
Okay.
Massive hugs. See you next
Bye.
time. Thank you, Dr.
Bye-bye.
Campbell, for being so red today. Rah!
I brought the color for you.
You did absolutely. Can I sunbathe in your red, you know?
Absolutely.
Thank you for the D vitamin injection also in knowledge today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Larry!
Have a great
hello.
day.
I see you, Larry, up there. Massive hugs, Larry. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Massive
Closing
hugs,
out to you.
massive hugs, and thank you. And I have people on listening. Thank you.
You are so
thank you.
welcome.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye, Rockstar.
All right.